going to have a look at the extruded boss base feature, and the first thing that we need to create this feature is a sketch. So we're going to quickly put a sketch in on one of the planes. I think we'll create a rectangle centered around the origin. So here's our rectangle, and we'll fully define it. So there you go, fully defined. It forms a closed loop, which is one of the things that you've got to ensure, and it's saying fully defined down here. So if we click on features and extrude, by default it wants to extrude in a single direction and by a blind value. This one's defaulted to 80. We can enter whatever we need to enter there, or we can use the handle here, which is visible if you've got instant 3D switched on, and when you drag the handle you get this scale that allows you to snap to regular increments on the scale. So we'll allow that to snap and click on OK. So you can see that the initial sketch is at one end of this extruded geometry, and that is because we selected blind, which is in a single direction. One of the other useful options is this mid-plane option, and what that does is it takes half of your value here and goes off in this direction with it. So in this case it would be 25, and then the other half of that value, it goes off in the other direction. So the total remains what you've entered here, but your sketch and sketch plane are sandwiched in the centre of the part, which can be quite useful if you want a plane running directly through the centre. So to fully explore all the other options in this drop down menu, up to vertex, up to surface, offset, up to body, we're going to have to add some more geometry into the part. So if we get out of that part and look at this other part that I've created, so what I've done here is I've created some geometry to start with in the part. In this case it's an extruded polygon sketch, and then what I've done is create this extra plane here labelled up as plane 1. I've offset it from one of the base planes, and then I've sketched a closed boundary on this plane. In this case it's a circle. So now what I'm going to do, when I've got that sketch selected, I'm going to click on extrude again, and then I'm going to select one of these new options. So if we click on up to vertex, what that allows us to do is pick a single point on the existing geometry or an edge on the existing geometry. So if we select this edge, you can see if I look at that side on now, you can see that this extrusion comes all the way through until it aligns itself with that edge. Or if I select this edge, you can see that extrude goes in a single direction until it hits the edge. So if I okayed that, you can see it's got edge contact with this other piece of geometry, but then it stops. So some of the other options in there, that was the up to vertex. You can do up to next, in which case this will extrude off in your given direction until it meets any other piece of geometry, at which point it will terminate. So it's terminated on this face here and this face here, and it's created this sort of cut into it like that. Now normally what it would do is merge itself with the existing geometry, but I've unticked the merge option so that I can easily hide this existing piece, and you can see how this extrude terminates. It terminates with the negative of the other piece of geometry. So we'll just bring that piece of geometry back and tick the merge option, and these two now become one. They've welded themselves together, if you like. So we'll just go on and look at some of the other options in here. We've done up to next, we've done up to vertex. If you want to pick a surface, let's pick this top surface. You can see what it's doing there. It's extending this top surface down as if it was infinite, and it's terminating this extrude using that top surface as its end point. So we can also do offset from surface. So by default it's using the same theoretical infinite surface, but it's got an offset of 50. Let's change that to something a bit smaller, 3, and you can see that it's terminated itself with a gap there, and that gap would be 3 mil. So within offset you can reverse the offset and it drops 3 mil inside the part before it terminates. And again we've got merge selected, so this part and this part become one, but similarly we could switch merge off if we wanted to view exactly what was going on inside there and keep them as two separate pieces of geometry. So we can now hide this piece and see what was happening. So up to body, just need to bring this other body back so it's visible. Up to body option, and again it's asking for some input here, which is why this box is in blue, and it's saying pick some existing geometry, and it's happy with that. So that's largely the same as up to next in this case. So that's the extruded boss base tool.